Hi guys! Welcome to Educating Shani. I'm Shani and I have an eating disorder. Hi Shani. Hi. Okay, so for those of you who follow me, you know that my dad's baptism, he was rebaptized into our church on Saturday a few days ago. And that day also was my grandpa's funeral. If you watched my channel, you know I posted a little video, kind of like a contributory video. Contributory. Where I sang his favorite song and put it to pictures of him, because my grandpa did pass away last week. So anyway, Saturday was the most emotional and biggest day I have had in a long time. And there is so much that I want to tell you. But today I'm going to just focus on one thing. I thought today I would talk a little bit more about my dad, and how it went for me on Saturday. I sang in front of people. No, I sang in front of my dad and people at his baptism. Are you proud of me? I'm so proud of me. So here's how it happened. Michelle, my sister, was originally going to sing alone at the baptism. I can't get them straight. Michelle was going to sing alone at the baptism for my dad. But she came up here a few days before the baptism, and so she's been staying with us and practicing and stuff, and she was so nervous about it, and she doesn't generally get nervous singing in front of people, but she was like out of her mind nervous about it. And so I kind of practiced with her a couple times. I kind of added my own harmony into it and kind of just stood with her while she practiced and stuff, and she asked if I was going to go to the funeral, which I didn't know till like the night before. If I was going to go, would I at least stand up there with her and hold her hand? And then if I'm feeling brave enough, I could sing the harmony that I practiced with her. So basically it went back and forth like a billion times in my head. Should I sing? Should I not sing? I knew for sure that I was going to stand up there with Michelle and hold her hand. I had no problem with that. I knew I was going to go, and I knew I was going to do that. So that was fine. And then when we got to the baptism, we practiced before it, and it was fine. The practice went really like easily for me, which is weird. I wasn't too nervous or anything. Like, this is what's funny about it, because Michelle and I have sung together so many times, but every single time we do, I can't do it, and so she has to take over my part and sing the whole song alone. Like, anytime we've sung at any like special event, like weddings or funerals or mission farewells or whatever, in a church with a congregation watching or whatever, I get choked up and I can't sing. So she's usually the one that carries me. But this time it was different. I felt like I needed to be there for her, because I've never ever seen her that nervous before. It's usually me who's that nervous. So after the practice right before the baptism, I said that I would sing with her, and I told them to put it on the program, and they did, blah blah blah. So it was about time to sing, and Michelle and I were sitting up on the stage, like facing the congregation at the church, and we were sitting up there waiting for our turn to sing. It was coming up pretty quickly, and I just freaked out. I got so nervous. My body started shaking. My brain went crazy. Everything went crazy. It was awful. Like, it's how it usually is when I sing. Just the nerves that like close up my throat and cause my body to not hold still and give me dry mouth, and I can't think and I can't breathe and I can't sing, obviously. So it was almost our turn, and Michelle said to me, okay, from now on, don't look at anybody. Don't look at the audience. Don't look at anybody until after we sing. It's just going to be you and me up there. No one else is going to be looking at you. It's just you and me, and just look at the music and nothing else. Do not look at anything else until after we sing. So we're sitting up there waiting for our turn. So I'm literally like looking down, because I don't want to look out to the congregation and see the people and see my dad and get emotional. But then I looked up. Why did I do that? Oh well, I'm glad it happened, because here's why. I looked up, and right away I saw my dad first, looking directly at my eyes, crying. Ooh. It's possible that I'm out of tears for the week. Anyway. So he looked at me and he was crying. And I looked at him and I went, like I mouthed, I loved you. And he looked at me and he mouthed, I'm sorry. With like tears streaming down his face. So I lost it. I completely lost it. And then I've got Michelle sitting next to me, not knowing what had just happened with my dad. She didn't know that, she didn't see it. So she just thought I was crying because I was nervous. So then she's like trying to cheer me up by saying ridiculously funny and inappropriate things. But that didn't work. So I got up from my chair and I went over to the organ on the stage and I hid behind it. I got on the floor behind it so that nobody could see me on the stage. And I went back there and I bowed my head and I prayed probably harder than I've ever prayed in a long time, and I begged God to let me sing and to help me to not only not be nervous, but just at least get the notes out and get the words out, because there's such important words for what my dad has gone through in his life to get to where he is right now. So I just was praying so hard, like the entire time until it was our turn to go up. So then it was our turn. So I went over and I kept my head down the whole time. I didn't look at the audience. I went right to the microphone and I didn't look. And right when I stood there, I grabbed Michelle's hand and we were holding hands, and I all of a sudden got this like calm, totally fine. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't crying. I wasn't doing anything that would interrupt my singing. And so I was able to sing, and I sang with Michelle, and near the end I did get choked up, because near the end I looked in the audience again and saw my dad crying, and so I got choked up. So, and then right when we were done singing, I walked back towards the organ and I kind of went like this to my dad and I said, I love you again. And I was bawling by then. By the end I was just bawling. And then I went back to the organ, and my other sister Angela, was sitting by the organ back there. She was at the piano because she was playing the hymns and stuff for people. And so I went back there and hid behind the organ and kind of got on the floor right next to her legs and just lost it. I bawled my eyes out. That's when all my shakes started to come back out. Like, it was fine while I was singing. Then right when I got back to her, I just lost it. And she just held me for so long and just let me cry and let me bawl in her lap and stroked my hair the whole time, and she just was really sweet. So thank you, Angela, for that. That was really comforting. Anyway, it was really neat that I was able to do that. That's if you know me, if you're in my family, that's kind of a miracle, because I have never been able to sing in front of actual people. Like, I sing to you guys all the time, but technically I'm singing to a camera. So anyway, so that was a really neat experience for me. And Danny recorded our song when we sang together, and so I thought I'd show you that footage. You cannot hear super well like us singing, because he was sitting on the side where the piano was, so you can kind of hear the piano more than us singing. And so I will close caption it and put all of the words, because I want you to see the words too. It's a really beautiful song that my dad's brother wrote, and it just fits so perfectly with what my dad has found and what my dad has come back to, and it just was really special. So here is that footage. So I'm just like, I can't believe I did that. I can't. Like, that was cool. That was really cool. So anyway, before that, I will say really quickly that before we sang was his actual baptism, like where he was dunked in the water. For those of you who don't know what baptism is, I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot of other things that go into it, but I'll just leave it at that. So the part where he gets actually dunked and put a blessing on him and a prayer that's said right before he gets dunked happened right before we sang, which probably also heightened my emotions because I was bawling. Michelle and I were just holding each other, watching him be baptized and just bawling, and watching my brother be the one to baptize him. It was the most wonderful experience I've had in such a long time. Like, I felt our bond was renewed, not just me and my dad, but me and my siblings, and my siblings and my dad, and all of us with my dad. And so it was a really, really special day for me. Besides, you know, the funeral was special as well, but I'll talk about that a different day, because today I just want to talk about this. But I just want to say again, Dad, if you're watching, and you probably are, I am so proud of you. And like I told you after the baptism, I do forgive you, and I love you, and I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm grateful for your honesty with me. We had some really good talks right after that, and I'm really grateful for you being honest and genuine and sincere. And like, I just saw a huge difference in my dad. I hadn't seen him for a long time before the baptism, so when I got there and I looked into his eyes, he looked back to that dad that I knew, that I saw a few times growing up. It was kind of hard to see it sometimes, most of the time, but there were times where I caught that connection with him, and I caught in his eyes that he really was trying, and he really was doing it from a good place and doing it for the right reasons. Yeah, so I saw that again, and I haven't seen that for so long. So it was really beautiful, and I was hoping that I would go to the baptism and find some sort of forgiveness for him, or find some sort of way to move on from the pain that he caused me, and that happened. Like, that's incredible. That is, I have no words. I'm speechless, actually. Like, I just felt like this huge weight was lifted off my shoulders, and since Saturday, since that day, I just have been feeling so happy. And so, like, I'm not saying that it cured me, but it certainly made me feel hope. It made me feel hope, not only for him, but for me, through him. Like, I didn't expect this to happen, but really what stood out to me was that I saw him humble himself so much to truly apologize, first of all, and to do the hard work that he had to do to get back into being a member of our church, which in my mind means good with God. Like, he's good now. He's not perfect. Nobody's perfect ever. But it just was such a huge relief for me. Like, it just felt, because I talked about before that if my dad were to die soon, which I think he will, how horrible I would feel leaving him in the last place that I saw him before the baptism, which was a really bad place. And how I was thinking of going to the baptism because I wanted my last memory with him to be in a really good place with him. And that happened. And in fact, well, I shouldn't say for sure, but I'm really thinking about kind of inviting him into my life more. But he did tell me that it's okay because he watched my video where I talked to him. I told him not to. I warned him at the beginning of the video, Dad, but he still watched it. So he knew that I was considering just going, watching him be baptized, and then leaving, and then maybe possibly not even having him in my life again after that. But I am starting to feel like I could, like it's a possibility for me. I think I do still have some healing to do, but it's odd because I feel like I forgive him now, like truly forgive him, like fully. I think what I need to work through now is finding a way to let my pain go in the sense of my eating disorder. So that doesn't make sense. I don't know how to explain this, but I think it's just different that I feel like I can focus more on my eating disorder standpoint of my healing rather than focusing on the abuse that my dad did to me, like, because I'm starting to feel like it's time that I can let that go and use that now in a good way instead of use it for a bad way. Like I can, like in the past, I would use my abuse and my horrible memories with my dad as a way to almost like subconsciously give me an excuse to do my eating disorder. And now I feel like I don't have that, and I don't have those I'm still hurt, but I'm not angry. I don't know how to explain this. Like I can still have those painful feelings and painful memories, but now I can use them in a good way. Now I know that I can use it as a tool to heal, because I can say, okay, I went through so much pain growing up, not just with my dad, but today this is about my dad, not just with my dad, but we'll relate it to my dad today. So I went through so much pain growing up with him, and it's time to start using that pain for good. Like you see people out there using their pain for good, people like Elizabeth Smart especially. Oh my gosh, I don't know how she does what she does. Seriously, I've read her book, I've listened to her testimonial in the courts about what she went through, like unbelievable. And to be the person that she is and to use it for so much good, I've always had so much respect for, but I was never able to feel that. I never felt like I could actually get to that point, but now I feel like I'm getting to that point. Not nearly as great as she is. She's like incredible, but you know what I mean? Like now I can use it to say, you know what, you guys, for those of you out there who are still going through this or have been through that pain, I can now say that I know what it's like to live through pain like that and to actually forgive your abuser and to forgive whatever situation was happening when that pain happened, and to use it now as like more of a what's the word? Push? More of a push to get me better and use it for a good way now and not just, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I just feel so good. Like I'm so glad that I went. I am so glad that I went. And again, I'm so proud of my dad, and I'm so grateful that I was able to be there. And I'm really thankful that I was able to witness such a special day in his life and to feel such a special thing in his life. And I told him when I said goodbye to him that night that that I needed to process the whole day, that I needed to process things and think about it and really kind of feel and gauge out how I'm feeling about him. And I'm still doing that. So, but he was so gracious about it, and he said, you don't ever have to talk to me again if you don't want to. I understand that I hurt you. Like he validated everything that I've been waiting for him to validate for so long. And even the things he didn't remember, like I told him, I think there's a lot that maybe you don't remember because he's denied it so many times in the past. And I thought, well, maybe that's because of drugs or some other mental issue that you just forgot about them. And he admitted that that's totally possible. So he said, if you ever want to tell me what I did to you that I'm not remembering, then I'm here and I will take it and I will take full responsibility. Like, and I've never heard that from him before. In the past, when I've confronted him, it was always, oh, I didn't do that. I would never hurt you. I would never do that. There's no way I would ever do that. And now, even the stuff he's not remembering, he's at least saying there's a possibility that I did that to you because there's a lot that I don't remember during those years of your childhood. So that really meant a lot to me. And he told me that if I never want to talk to him again, that's okay. That's up to me, and that he'll respect it. And so I just told him, let me process it. Let me work through some more things and I'll get back to you. So that's where I am right now. I have a feeling though that I will be able to have him in my life again. I just need to finish working through the painful parts of the things that he caused, but I'm not like angry at him anymore. Now I want to work through like the actual pain. So how do I explain that? Okay, so like, how do I explain this? This is really difficult. Okay, so I forgive him for the abuse that he did to me. However, the actual abuse that was done that affected my life sexually and physically and emotionally, I still need to deal with that. But as far as who caused that, I'm okay with that. Does that make any sense? Like, I'm not angry anymore. I know that he's sorry. I feel it. I saw it. I feel it. I know it. But now I need to work through what that pain did to me now and how it's caused a lot of horrible things for me. So it's caused my eating disorder. It's caused my sexual problems. Sorry if that's TMI, but I haven't talked about that yet, have I? Have I talked about that? Another day. And it's caused like me to literally, well, I'll explain all that in another video. Maybe I'll explain like the types of abuse I went through and what it did to me and how it affected me. But anyway, bottom line, I am so proud of you, Dad, if you're watching, and I love you and I forgive you, and I'm grateful to you for working so hard to get there, because it kind of also made me want to work harder on myself too, which is amazing. So thank you for being that example, and thank you for doing this for yourself most of all. Thank you for doing what you need to do for you to be truly happy and to truly get back good with God and with your salvation. And like that's the most wonderful example you could ever show me. So thank you. So, okay. So that's basically summed up what I wanted to tell you about my dad's baptism. And maybe next week I'll talk about the funeral. I don't really know if I need to talk too much about it, but there are a couple things I might, like I took some footage from the funeral as well, so I might just show you some of that footage next week. I'm not sure. But for today, I just wanted to talk about that specific thing that I sang in front of my dad and a lot of people, and that I forgave him, and why and how and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So thank you for joining me for this. I am really proud of myself for doing that, and I'm really proud of him, and I'm proud of me. Oh, and by the way, I'm so proud of Michelle too. Like, she was not even nervous when it happened. Well, she was nervous, but like she had also calmed down by the time we got up there, and she did a beautiful job, as you just saw from the video. She has such a beautiful voice. So anyway, okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment if you have any questions. Okay, so I'll see you Friday for a fun Friday with Danny and Shani. You are beautiful. You are worth it. And I am too. Thank you for watching. Bye.